Imagine being offered $350 million, guaranteed, and saying no. Not because the money wasn't real, not because you didn't trust the team, but because you had a plan, a smarter plan, a scarier plan, one that would not only change your career forever, but send shockwaves through every front office, every ownership group, and every commissioner's meeting in all of professional baseball. That is exactly what Kyle Tucker just did, and the fallout is so massive, so unprecedented, so deeply controversial that MLB as we know it may never be the same again. So buckle up, because what just happened in Los Angeles is not just a baseball story. It is the biggest power move in sports in the last decade, and we are breaking down every single layer of it right now. Let's start at the very beginning, because context is everything here. Kyle Tucker is not just a good player. He is a four-time All-Star, one of the most feared hitters in all of baseball, and coming into this offseason, he was unanimously considered the #1 free agent on the entire market. Every front office in MLB had circled his name. Every general manager had made the call. Every owner had said the words, "whatever it takes." This was a once-in-a-generation player hitting the open market at 29 years old, right in the absolute prime of his career, and the bidding war that followed was nothing short of historic. The Toronto Blue Jays came in swinging harder than anyone expected. 10 years, $350 million. No deferred money, no games, no financial tricks, just cold, hard cash, paid out in full, making Kyle Tucker one of the richest athletes in the history of professional sports. Most people in baseball assumed that was it, that Tucker would take the money, move to Toronto, and spend the next decade living like royalty. But then something stunning happened. Tucker said no. He turned down $350 million, the largest guaranteed deal ever offered to a position player in free agency history, and he walked straight into the arms of the Los Angeles Dodgers for a 4-year, $240 million deal instead. Now, before you say, wait, that's less money, let me stop you right there, because this is where the genius of what Tucker and his team did becomes absolutely clear. The Dodgers deal came with a $64 million signing bonus paid almost immediately, $30 million in deferred salary. Now, before you say, wait, that's less money, let me stop you right there, because this is where the genius of what Tucker and his team did becomes absolutely clear. The Dodgers deal came with a $64 million signing bonus paid almost immediately, $30 million in deferred salary, and here's the critical part. Opt-out clauses after both the second and third seasons. What that means in plain English is that Tucker is going to bank $120 million over the next 2 years, hit the free agent market again at 31 years old, still in his prime, and then command an even larger long-term contract from whatever team is desperate enough to outbid everyone else. He doesn't just get paid once, he gets paid twice, potentially 3 times, and by choosing the shorter deal over the longer guarantee, he proved he has more confidence in himself than any team in baseball had in their own franchise players. That is not just smart. That is a chess move at a level most athletes never even consider. But here's where the story gets really, really explosive, because the reaction from around the league was not just loud, it was volcanic. And I mean that literally. Multiple reports surfaced within days of the signing that MLB owners, the actual billionaire owners of these franchises, were, and I am quoting directly here, raging. Not disappointed, not frustrated, raging. According to The Athletic's Evan Drellich, it is now, quote, 100% certain that owners will push for a salary cap when the current collective bargaining agreement expires on December 1st, 2026. One source put it even more bluntly, saying about the owners, "These guys are going to go for a cap, no matter what it takes." And another high-ranking team official, speaking anonymously, described the owners' collective mood with language I cannot repeat on this channel, but the message was crystal clear. They are ready to burn the entire system down if that's what it takes to stop the Dodgers. Now think about that for a second. We are talking about the wealthiest owners in professional sports, people who own billion-dollar franchises, sitting in their luxury boxes and their boardrooms, absolutely beside themselves because one team keeps doing what every other team refuses to do: spend money, and not just spend money casually. And here is the part that doesn't get talked about enough. The Dodgers don't just have the biggest payroll, they also get hit with the most punishing luxury tax penalties in the sport. Because they have blown past the highest competitive balance tax threshold, they are now subject to a 110% penalty on every single dollar they spend over that limit. So when you crunch the numbers on Tucker's deal, which carries a net present value of $57 million per year, You quickly realize the Dodgers are actually paying somewhere in the neighborhood of $120 million per season for one player once those tax penalties are factored in. $120 million per year for one outfielder. That is more money than the entire 2026 payroll of 10 different Major League Baseball teams. Let that sink in for a moment, and yet the Dodgers don't blink. They don't flinch. They just keep building. Remember, this is the team that won back-to-back World Series championships. 2 in a row. They paid a record $169.4 million in competitive balance taxes last year while winning the title, and their response to all the criticism and all the pearl clutching from the rest of the league was to go out and sign the best closer on the market, Edwin Diaz, and then add Kyle Tucker to a roster that was already being called the most dominant in modern baseball history. Multiple analysts have now stated on record that this current Dodgers squad may be the most complete roster the organization has ever assembled, and given that this is a franchise with 11 World Series titles and one of the most decorated histories in the sport, that is saying something truly staggering. If you made it this far, I genuinely want to know what you think. Is this brilliant franchise building, or is it destroying the competitive spirit of baseball forever? Do the owners have a point about needing a salary cap, or is this just the wealthy protecting themselves from a team that outworked them? Drop your honest take in the comments right now because this debate is going to define the sport for the next generation, and I want to hear exactly where you stand. And if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell because this story is only getting bigger. The CBA negotiations are coming, the 2027 season is in jeopardy, and this channel is going to cover every single twist and turn as it happens.